Hey, what is up? I've got a vintage cube draft today. Starting off pretty strong here. I think it's definitely looking at this mana drain as the pick. Pretty strong pack overall, though. I think um, mana drain is definitely like the highest just overall power, but like Leovold, Inti, Natural Order, even like Lurrus and Lion's Eye Diamond are like very niche powerful to a certain degree where they when you get a good deck around them they really can shine. um, but I'm gonna take mana drain. I mean, you don't need a good deck for mana drain to be good, so I will happily draft that. Hopefully I will get a good deck on top of the mana drain, but you can only wish for so much. You know what I mean? I think with the mana drain, definitely looking towards a kind of a blue based tempo style deck. Got an Arwen Mortal Queen. Some of these cards are new to me since this is the first draft I've done of this iteration. Um, I think like the first ones that come to mind are obviously the blue cards. That kind of a good way of looking at it. I mean, got a couple counter spells. Malcolm, Gut is really good. I really like Gut. I might. That's between that and I think in this case I would probably take Memory Lapse. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Gut here. Um, it's just such a high power card, and I think blue red can make that work pretty easily. Um, obviously the dream of countering something big and then casting Blightsteel Colossus is pretty sweet, but probably a little unrealistic. Nexus of Becoming is a pretty sweet card. Um, as of right now, I would really kind of need to be in a big mana artifact style deck, and I mean I have the ability to go for counterspell. Limdul's Vault looks like a new addition. Uh, put those cards in the bottom of your library in any order. Look at the top five. Okay. This seems like a could be a good digging card for combo style deck. I mean, I'm probably just gonna go with counterspell here. I mean, for similar reasons as mana drain, it's just always good, and doesn't obviously doesn't have quite the upside, but you know, I think it's just a very strong card, and having multiple also helps kind of compound the power level where you're getting rid of you can just fire it off more easily when you know you got another one coming. Um, this pack looks like it dried up a little bit. Um, I've got a couple of solid blue cards, a red card. There's a removal spell. Uh, Tameo could be pretty powerful. Snuff Out is probably the highest power card in the pack. Um, but honestly, I might just go 3 steps ahead here and then just go just yeah, just try to push more into blue, and I've already got a good counterspell style deck going. All right, next one, nothing really for me here. Hard Evidence is a solid piece here. I could take a Taiga as just a speculative um, dual land. Bristly Bill is sweet. I really like Bristly Bill. I don't. I mean, I would probably play it in pretty much any deck that I was playing as long as I had green. But I think given that I don't have any green cards yet, I'd rather just take the Taiga and this way, like a Misty Rainforest, something like that, becomes instantly a really good card for my deck. Here, gotta consider I got Epicure's options, Hallowed Fountain, of course. Toxic Deluge is good, but I feel like it's gotten worse as time has gone on in the cube. Um, I kind of like the Epicure. It goes really well with Gut. I mean, you can it sacrifice it. You can sacrifice the Epicure. You can sacrifice the Blood token. The Epicure attacks to trigger it, so I'm going to go with that one. I think the um, you know, Consider is good too, but it's a little bit more replaceable. Now this is an interesting one. I got a Carnage Interpreter. Enters the battlefield, discard your hand, and then investigate 4 times. So that's a really bad combo with a counterspell. I was not going to pick that one. Then we got Time Twister and Serum Visions. Currently, I don't have any combos with Time Twister. Um, and honestly, my deck is not looking like it would want to take advantage. So I'm just gonna go with the Serum Visions here. It's a bit boring, but it's the safe pick. And Prof's Eidetic Memory. My deck actually seems pretty well set up for that. I'm already looking to kind of get some cheap creatures to attack with, and then like I've already got 3 steps ahead in Serum Visions to kind of trigger this. So I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. I mean, Bergie, Thundermaw don't seem that great. Yogg's Will is like a sweet card, but not really something I can take advantage of. Wow, Leovold and Natural Order both wield. That's kind of interesting. I mean, if I had taken the Time Twister, I probably would be taking the Leovold here. But kind of as it stands, I'm not really into that. So I'm gonna take this Fiery Islet. I know some people are probably screaming at me about passing the Time Twister, passing the Leovold, and it would have been sick with this eidetic memory. But I think it's um, overall there's uh, a good way to make this work without like going all in on, if I don't get these cards together, then my deck is just like kind of useless. All right, Bristly Bill Wield. Wow. I mean, I think I'm just gonna take Endurance here. I think there's like a very low chance that I'll play either Endurance or Turnabout, but Endurance at least with this Taiga gives me some sideboard relevance. Same thing with and then now that I picked up the Scavenging Ooze and the Savannah, those are also potential. Savannah, of course, is not actually doesn't actually like fix my mana for green, unless I picked up like a Flooded Strand or something like that. But I think if I do end up playing green or wanting to splash it, there is a potential there. Music's Mastery is pretty sweet. I wouldn't have minded playing this, especially if I had that Magma Opus. But as it stands right now, it's not super exciting here. Honestly, this whole pack is a little weak to me. I mean, there's Dream Halls, which, well, I know it can really go strong here. Really doesn't line up well with the rest of my deck. I mean, am I? I'm not really looking to discard a Voldair and Epicure to cast a Gut. Nothing in my deck costs more than 3, so I could definitely see Cryptic Coat being good. Kaido is a good card if I can splash for it. Um, I think I'm just gonna go for the Cryptic Coat here. I don't really think Kaido is good enough to justify taking a black card here. Um, then let's see. I've got a couple options here. Marsh Flats um, doesn't really help me out, but Rogran Triumph does fix my mana. And I've also got Expressive Iteration or a Chandra here. And I think the way things are going, I think I'm just gonna go with this iteration. I don't think I'm gonna really I think I'm gonna have another chance to pick up more fixing later. And iteration is just such a good card. I also wouldn't mind if the Chandra, Triome, or Smuggler's Copter wheels, I'd be pretty happy with any of those. So we'll see if those. Oh man, so this is where I would have loved this to be my first pack. I got a Bonehorde Dracosaur. I've got a Tinker, which unfortunately I'm just like wildly unprepared to pick. I've got Preordained, Thieving Skydiver, Thundering Falls. Um, I think in this pack, I'm probably gonna end up just gonna take the Preordain again. I mean, this really just sets me up very well for um, you know, Proph's Eidetic Memory, for any prowess creature that I could find, and hopefully I can get a good wheel from this pack. Okay, so there's a prowess creature, Oko the Ringleader, and if he ain't it, if this was the OG Oko, I would be slamming this right here, but he's not. So I think it's between the Swift Spear and the Stern Scolding. Um, and I think I'm gonna go with the Swift Spear here. I've already got a few counter spells, and um, I think there's the chance of getting more fairly easily, whereas getting another Swift Spear is, kind of one of one. Although here's another here's another good Swift Spear replacement, and in this pack, really nothing that stands out to me. I mean, a couple of red Surveillance that I could play. Wouldn't really be happy about it with this deck that has this low of a curve. But you play these, grab a fetch land, and kind of off to the races. But I'm happy with the Dragon's Rage Chandler there. Wow, and a Fury, and a path Iconoclast. Now this is very interesting. I think because third path Iconoclast is definitely has the um most synergies with my deck, but Fury is by far the most powerful card, or more powerful card. Um, so yeah, I think I'm probably gonna end up going with that one. Really hope this one can wheel. If I had to, I would probably play Waterlogged Grove here. Pyrokinesis is kind of funny right after getting the Fury. Kitesail Larcenist. Choose up to one other target artifact or creature that player controls for as long as Kitesail Larcenist remains in the battlefield. The chosen permanents become treasure tokens with the treasure ability. Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely going to be my pick over Displacer Kit. I just have no support for this whatsoever. And Pyrokinesis, I mean, I've already got that obviously covered with Fury. Okay, Jace Reawaken is pretty sweet. I think I just got to be disciplined here and take the Spire Bluff Canal. It's kind of really the perfect, well, not the perfect dual land, but a very good dual land for this kind of low curve style deck. Um, if this Jace was able to be wheeled, I would be hoping for that, but fortunately that's not going to happen. Dreamhall is still in the pack. Still not good in my deck. Mizzix Mastery is fun, but I think in this case I'm just taking the relic for the sideboard. Kind of sad, but you know it is the way it goes sometimes. And I guess Figure of Destiny here. It's really the only one that kind of fits in my deck. Um, Oh wow, Thundering Falls came back. So did Bonehorde Dracosaur. Bonehorde Dracosaur is sweet, but I mean, it really just doesn't synergize well with the rest of my deck. Monastery Mentor does synergize very well with my deck. We'll see if I'll be able to play it, like and make it with the um, white mana and everything. But if 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 it can fit in the deck, it would probably play it. And Displacer Kitten comes back. Okay, so far, I mean, I'm feeling pretty happy with this deck. Um, I wouldn't mind a little bit more removal, and what I really would want is like Force of Will, Force of Negation. I think those ones would really put this deck together, and you know, Subtlety is pretty close. I mean, I think I've got to take this one here. I'd be very happy with a Portent Lorien revealed. Um, I could even see playing a Fiery Confluence. Uh, Strip Mine is probably the bottom of the barrel for this deck, but I mean, if I had a Strip Mine, I would play it. But I mean, Subtlety is it's just so good in this type of deck. Like, it can be a creature when you want it, and a free counterspell when you don't have the option. Now this is kind of interesting. I've got a Lightning Bolt, obviously great. Ledger Shredder, obviously great. Steamkin is, I think, my red card count is a little bit low for that. I think I'm gonna go for Ledger Shredder here. In this case, I've got some answers, and I would like to try to keep my creature count up a little bit. Unfortunately, I mean this lightning bolt it's just not going to wheel, but you can't take every card. Okay, Ponder, Chain Lightning, Otawara, Dig Through Time, Bone Crusher Giant. This is a really good pack for my deck. I think so. Off the bat, how looking at this, Dig Through Time is probably not well enough supported in my deck to really take good advantage, especially when Ponder is kind of takes the precedence over that. Um, Chain Lightning is kind of similar to the Lightning Bolt pick in the last pack, but again, I mean, I think my chance of wheeling either Chain Lightning, Bone Crusher, or War is pretty high, and I think all three of those would be somewhat replaceable. Definitely the Chain Lightning and Bone Crusher is like a uh, they both remove creatures pretty cheap way to cast a spell. Oh man, so now we're really getting into it. We got a Flame Slash, a Generous Plunderer. At the beginning of upkeep, you may create a treasure token. Target opponent creates a treasure token. Deals. Okay, I think this one I would probably play. I could definitely see it being insane out of the sideboard, but man, Fairy Mastermind or Slickshot Show Off are really drawing my eye here. I kind of wonder. I've got 11 creatures so far. I could definitely see either one of these being really good in my deck. I think I'm going to go with the Fairy Mastermind. I think it goes better with the counter spells that I've got. But I'd be very happy with either a Flame Slash or the Slick Shot coming back. Okay, so in this pack, um, I've got the Highway Robbery, Mind Collapse, Robber of the Rich. I kind of like Highway Robbery or Mind Collapse. I've got, the last few picks have kind of gotten me some more creatures. Now I'd be looking for more ways to kind of trigger the prowess abilities, and I'm get in for damage and stuff. So I think I'm probably gonna go for the Mind Collapse here. It's just a free spell to cast. It's also a removal, which I've been, you know, passing on, but I do need to take eventually. Um, Out of this pack, you got Firebolt, you got Tishana's Tidebinder. I think I'm gonna go with the Tidebinder here. That seems like it would be, it's just a nice counterspell slash tempo creature. Wow, I'm really surprised that Broadside Bombardiers is in the pack this late. I mean, this card is just really, really strong. I mean, it's the sacrifice is to any target. So, if I'm out here with a Epicure or something, I can just dome 3 to a creature, or just dome 3 to face. I mean, okay, that doesn't look like anything out of this pack. I mean, I guess Breeding Pool, the Green Dream is long since dead. Portent. Honestly, I don't even know if I'll end up playing Portent, since it doesn't draw me a card right away. Steamkin. Bone Crusher is pretty solid. I'm Let's see. I'm gonna need to make some cuts. I think right off the jump, Figure of Destiny doesn't look too great here. Um, 3 Steps Ahead also seems pretty mediocre. Because I'm just It's just costs too much. You know, I'm either paying 3 mana for like a draw 2 slash counterspell, or I'm paying even more than that, and definitely don't want to do that. Slickshot Show Off did come back. That's pretty nice. Um, just taking that because it's blue. Once Upon a Time, technically, I could play this as a free spell, but I'm not going to. Um, so let's see. I've got. Okay. So let's see. Right now I've got 26 non-lands. Um, I could. So I would need to cut 3 cards. I could see playing 16 lands in this deck since I've got Ponder, Portent, Preordained, Serum Visions. All of those are pretty solid cards. Um, so I think one thing I do like about Cryptic Coat is that it really fuels the Bombardiers and Gut pretty well. Kite Sail, Larcenist. Um, I don't know. I don't know if this is super necessary. Um, I think I think this is. I could see this being more of a sideboard card. Um, and then let's see. So in I'm thinking probably one more cut here. Um, I like the so what I'm thinking here is I do like the Bone Crusher. I like Fear. I could see there is some tension here with Mind Collapse and Fury, where I really don't know that I would want to be, um, you know, having both of these, because that's a pretty steep price to pay. Kind of 2-for-1ing myself with both of those cards if I ever drew both. Um, so yeah, I think in this case I'm probably going to um, move that to the board. I could These two. these two cards are probably my main sideboard cards here, of course with Relic as well. So if I play against a more creature focused deck, these guys are coming straight in. Um, if I play these are kind of just pretty mediocre if I'm playing against a more controlling build, which is kind of why I'm going with like Fury over Mind Collapse and Bone Crusher over Kitesail Larcenist. I think those are just a little bit better. And obviously both are very good also against creature decks as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna add some lands here and queue it up for round one. All right, we're back with round one. Let's hope for a good aggressive start here. I think that's probably going to be where my deck shines is, get a um, Dragon's Rage Chandler, get a Ledger Shredder in play, and then just start going counter your spell, kill your creature, attack for lethal. Well, and this hand is not it. Wow, back to back single mountain hands. Kind of brutal. Okay, I mean this hand is a bit rough still, but it does have Serum Vision's Proph's Eidetic Memory, also draws a card. I'm going to put Fury to the bottom here. And yeah, let's see what my opponent has put together. Blue-black, Surveil land. Puts a card on top. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to go for Serum Visions here. Nice. Drew a Mountain, that's a good one. I think I'm going to, so with that in mind, probably going to bottom this, and I'll keep the Fairy Mastermind. Okay, so no plays. I mean, I think this is probably just a good turn to just play the Mastermind. Maybe they'll play a card draw spell. Retrofitter Foundry. Fortunately, did bottom my Shield Breaker, but hopefully I can push through where I need to here. I'm going to go ahead and cast this. I mean, the fact that these are +1/+1 counters and not like just +1/+1 till end of turn is kind of crazy. Nice. So I got a 3/2 Fairy Mastermind. The other, oh, he's just making a servo. Got it. I will accept that. So then I can drop this. Next turn, next turn I could potentially draw 2 cards. Like Crack the Blood, play Ponder, and then just kind of go nuts. Wow, that's pretty brutal. Oh, and target themselves to discard Atali. Okay. All right, we got some fancy plays over here. Okay, so yes, I'm definitely feeling like I want this counter spell. So let me and the Dragon's Rage Chandler is a pretty good pickup as well. I think I'm just gonna hold off on the blood token for now. depending on how this turn goes, I could see sacrificing that end of turn, or just probably just waiting till next turn. All right. Let's see what he's got. Got to reanimate. All right. I will attempt to counter that. Cool. I can do something kind of cool here. Where I can Dragon's Rage Chandler. I can surveil this mountain to my graveyard, which also turns on my Dragon's Rage Chandler. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna hold. I don't really want to. I don't really want to throw away a Bone Crusher here just for a +1/+1 counter. And they're just going for the Thopter here, which I guess before they untap, let me just deal with that. So I guess a little bit of a punt there. Missed 2 damage. Could have killed that before combat. I think I'm gonna surveil this to the graveyard here without any cards in hand. You know, that it's just a hasty 1/2. Which is not as exciting as a potential redraw. And you know, I'm not really afraid of drawing a land either because I've got this blood token in play. So I can kind of redraw to go deeper into my deck if I need to. And would you look at that? Ledger Shredder is pretty good. Kind of wondering if I should hold it or if that's too fancy. It's probably a bit too fancy here. I think I am going to sacrifice this Fire Islet though. I can get okay. Gut is very good. I'm gonna put the counters here because they can make a Retrofitter Foundry token and just block otherwise. Okay, and then I cast Ledger Shredder. And hopefully they've only got reanimate style cards. Okay, Urza. Well, let's see what they've got here. I mean, I've got a lot of damage coming soon. Fortunately, I can't actually trigger my Ledger Shredder or my Proph's Eidetic Memory. But what I can do is, you know, attack here and get a 4/1 skeleton. Because I'm assuming the plan here has got to be to make a Thopter, right, to block my Dragon's Rage Chandler. And this is going to make things much more difficult. Okay, let's scoop it up. Sweet. All right, so they are a graveyard deck, so I will be bringing in Relic of Progenitus. Let's see. I think I'm going to bring in Kitesail Larcenist as well. I guess probably my best answer to just like if they put a big creature into play, then I turn it into a treasure token. Cryptic Coat seems way too slow. And then Tidebinder, I mean, Tidebinder seems solid still. I could see cutting that. Um, it is a bit slow and not necessarily that great. You know, if I'm, it can turn off the Retrofitter Foundry, but it couldn't necessarily turn off like, you know, Atali. It's still a 7/7. Um, let's see. I think I am gonna do that. You know, try to keep my curve pretty low. I don't want to board in a 3-mana card and then take out a 1-mana card for it. Yeah, so it seems like they might be kind of like a, I don't even know, like kind of splashing a reanimator deck. This hand I'm definitely gonna keep. I think the only question is, do I relic turn one or do I Thundering Falls? And I think I'm just gonna Thundering Falls here. Um, you know, if they can find a way to boom me, then so be it. I'm gonna keep Malcolm. That next turn I can go Spire Bluff, hold up my counter spells, and then if they don't do anything, just cast Malcolm, and like a really sweet line to be able to do that. See, we got a Scrapwork Mutt here. That one I will allow to resolve. Discards a swamp. Sure. I'm pretty happy to get my Malcolm into play here. So I guess let's start off by attacking for 2. And discard a mountain. Pretty happy to get that out of my hand. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cast this relic, get that into play. Then this kind of covers a lot of different bases here. I mean, even if I don't end up like needing to use this relic, I could definitely see just playing gut, sacrificing, and getting a 4/1. I mean, I'm going to try to wait till next turn if I can, just because then I can play gut and still have counterspell up. So we've got here a Shieldred's Edict. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. Not super concerned about that. Just gonna go ahead, exile that. Then start with the Serum Visions here. Kind of like that. This draws me a card, and then I get to scry 2 to decide what I want to do. I'm gonna bottom Swift Spear and keep the land. This way, I'm guaranteed to be able to gut plus counterspell next turn. And I even drew the Mastermind, so I can attack the Mastermind to trigger the gut. Things are going very well right now. Smuggler's Copter, yeah. Tech. You got it. Time for Fairy Mastermind. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get rid of this relic. You know, I've got counter magic up to feel protected from a uh, you know, a big turn. And I think at this point a 4/1 menace is gonna be a little bit more helpful. Tinker. Okay. Um, Go ahead and mana drain this one. Getting the scrapwork mutt back draws me a card. Nice. Well, that was a pretty clean 1-0. Let's get into the next one. All right. Zero lander. Okay. Yeah, this is much better. I'll keep this and think of bottoming the coat here. See what my opponent's up to. Also looks like another blue-red deck. I think what I'm gonna do here is probably Thundering Falls. I can then next turn I can Shredder into going for like double spell turn 3. I'm gonna keep a subtlety though. That'll be a nice one to draw. I could go, you know, Shredder but still leave up some level of defense. Tellurian Academy. Oh, Mox Diamond. Woo. Talisman. 3 mana still. Narset. Oh my god, that is actually insane against me right now. And this is not optional, so yeah. Hmm, that's a bit awkward. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play it. I mean, if they can trigger my Litter Shredder, it's annoying, but I can kind of I mean, this Ponder and Serum Visions are kind of useless right now, so I can sacrifice it or I can discard it and at the very least get a +1/+1 counter on my Litter Shredder. They are. Oh man, and then they Narset into the wheel. Sheesh, that's brutal. Yeah, this. uh, this is kind of crazy. So, got the island here. I wonder if they have something good in their hand that they're like. That's why they're waiting, kind of contemplating on the wheel or not. Time warp. Fair enough. Might as well play that while you can. Then going for the wheel now. Dang, you have more good stuff that you don't want to discard. Dak Faden. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and subtlety this because I'm assuming that wheel is coming down next. Unfortunately, they can't just draw it again with the wheel, but I can at least get some use out of the subtlety. Oh, I haven't. I don't know why I didn't think I did. I haven't drawn a card this turn, so the connive is not a total loss, like I was thinking. However, it is a total loss of my hand because of this Narset. So, yeah, you hate things you hate to see is this right here. I've got a fractured identity. Yeah. Um, Based on how this game has gone, I'm not very hopeful about my chances. Um, but I've just gotta hope that they drew deck faded and 6 lands. Okay, they did not draw that. Okay, and then they also have Swords to Plowshares. Yep. And then they can also deck fade in afterwards. Sea Chart plus Academy is super brutal. Just, get cast a spell, get more mana, use it to cast more spells to get more mana. Interesting. Not going for the deck fade in this turn. Wonder if they've got a blue card that costs 5 mana, they could play that. Oh, just not even using the Tellurian Academy mana. Shield Breaker. I mean, it's like almost good. Um, it's like normally I would be super happy about, killing a Mox Diamond, getting a 2/1 out of the deal. Oh, they just have like Mystic Confluence or Force of Will, just hard cast Force of Will off of my single untapped land. Oh man. Oh man, that's so brutal. We got Dak Faden coming down. Let's see. This is a crazy board. Like this is what's great about Vintage Cube. You got somebody popping off Wheel of Fortune, Narset, Tellurian Academy, Dag Fade, and a million artifacts, and I participated in this game, debatably. Oh, and they get another counterspell off of that. And then I'm starting to think it's time for game two. I think my opponent is playing it a little bit slow. Probably could have tapped a little bit differently to flip an incubator and hold a counterspell. But they've got counterspell. I've got a single mountain. Let's go on to the next one. Um so let's see here. feel like Cryptico is kind of my, it's like decently powerful, but um, but post board I'm bringing in things that I think are a little bit stronger. So I think I'm gonna probably bring in either the Larcenist or the Mind Collapse. I'm gonna go with the Mind Collapse here. I think Larcenist um, could be good. I mean, they are an artifact deck, but a lot of their artifacts just gonna be making mana, and I'd also like to have the coverage to pick off a planeswalker if I need to. And yeah, this hand looks pretty good. Um, Epicure into show off into like double cantrip seems like a pretty sweet start. Um, we'll see if they leave up any mana here. Oof. Yeah, I'll give them that one. It's a little bit better than my turn one, I think. Um, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cast it. I mean, definitely don't have a counterspell or something, and if they had Swords of Plowshares, they're gonna have it next turn too. But I'm pretty excited about this. Next turn I can either double cantrip, um, or I can uh, use Broadside Bombardiers. Okay, looks like they're gonna pick off my show off. Um, it's kind of interesting. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play the Ledger Shredder here. I get to connive, kind of set myself up a bit. So do I want Ponder or do I want Bombardiers? I think I want the Bombardiers. Okay. I mean, both of these are pretty good. Um, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is draw the iteration next turn. Then I can, flip a land for sure. Um, but I guess it also just depends on what my opponent does here. And with this much mana, I want to see if this turn is another setup turn, then I think I kind of have to. Okay. Looks like they might have counterspell or something here. Oh, this is a bit awkward now. I'm gonna stick to the plan. Go for the iteration. Um, yeah. So take the preordain. Put this on the bottom. Exile the island. Um, not really much to do there. And then yeah, I think I'm gonna hopefully be able to counter something big with Mana Drain. Although I am a little dubious. They showed Force of Will and Counterspell last game, and the way that they just cast the Seed Shark with no follow up, leave 2 mana up, it's just super suspicious to me. Um, Guess I'll start off with the Preordain. See what I can get here. Oh, I hate drawing Fiery Islet. So redraw later, and even this turn, it lets me like Stomp Spellseeker and Connive. Ooh, Mind Collapse is pretty good too. I think with the way that this game has gone, I might be getting rid of the Bombardiers here. And then I think I am just going to go ahead, sacrifice a mountain, get rid of this, and then I can get in for 4. They just have nothing? They had 6 mana? Kind of wild. I wonder if they've got like Fractured Identity or something, and they're just like, oh, I don't want to play it on Ledger Shredder. You know, I'm trying to hold off, kind of thing. I'm gonna counter. Okay. Having 3 mana for next turn is pretty nice. What I can start with here is just discarding this island. And drew a mountain. And I can cast a Bone Crusher. If they decide to try and use a removal spell, I can counter it, Connive. Don't know if that's something I would really want to do or if just let it go, but still just not really anything going on over there. I'm not sure. Not sure what's going on. I guess they're just super flooded or something. Okay, so it's Overloaded Winds of Abandon. Did you draw a counterspell? I did not draw a counterspell. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this end of turn. Portent. And Gut. Nice. So I'm going to do this. Look at the cards. Okay. Then I'm probably going to go ahead and I feel like probably just shuffle this. Depending on what they have, this is probably just game. Doesn't seem like they have anything. I'm gonna go through. Smack it for 12. All right. Nice to take game 2 there. Push it to a game 3 and let's see. Thinking about what I saw that game, is there anything that I would change? Probably not. I don't think. I think everything seemed pretty reasonable. Don't know if this is a matchup where I'd want 3 steps ahead. Actually, I think I'm gonna do it. So my reasoning here is just the way that that game played out, where they're kind of like they've got a lot of big mana spells, like Overload, Winds of Abandon, Fractured Identity, um, Time Warp, Narset plus Wheels, 6 mana. These are all things that's like it's pretty telegraphed if they're gonna do it, and um, that's where like I can kind of leave up 3 mana, but not with this hand, given that I don't have red. Okay, or I didn't have blue in the last one. I don't have red in this one. And I think it's awkward, but this is having only blue is much better because I've got all these cantrips, and I do have a counterspell plus subtlety if I need it. Okay, Mox Pearl on turn one again, but no follow-up plays so far. Let's see if they've got. I mean, if they go for a Narset or a Dak Faden, I will subtlety that for sure. Just got nothing here. Sure. Still no red mana, but Counterspell is now online, which is pretty nice. Let's see what they've got here. Cycle Raffine's Tower. I'll allow it. I will allow that. Okay, so still nothing. Spire Bluff Canal, nice. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and play Epicure here. Next turn I can leave up Subtlety or even play Expressive Iteration depending on what goes on with my opponent. Spire Bluff Canal pass. I'm just in shock. I really just don't understand what's going on that side of the board. Um, I think at this point, I'm just gonna hold up Counterspell Subtlety again, and then I can, if they don't do anything again, I'm just hardcasting Subtlety. I'm just getting my clock up again. Land pass. This is kind of insane. I know they have good cards over there, but I don't know. Maybe they're just flooding super hard. But I'm gonna try to put some more pressure on them. Start off by attacking. I think probably gonna go for Expressive Iteration next. Interesting. So probably show off to hand. Burst Lightning bottom. Channeler exiled. And I can go Mountain, cast Channeler. And yeah, Expressive Iteration's a pretty strong card. Just straight up nothing going on over there. Really don't know what they could have. I mean, is it possible they actually just have 5 lands? Like, I wonder. I wonder if they're playing. Yeah, I think at this point I'm okay with letting that one go. Um, I wonder if they're playing some like Blightsteel Colossus type creatures. Like the way that they've just not done anything kind of makes me suspicious that they're kind of banking on their ramp and their Tolarian academies to cast something like really big. But the way things have gone, they just haven't been able to. So I'm gonna. This is gonna be a pretty nice turn. Get show off to come down, attack for uh, 3. Get a surveil. So bottom, top. Attack for 4 here. Okay. I wonder if they're debating about Winds of Abandon or something. I mean, I think that one way out of this for them would really be like, a Winds of Abandon or some big threat, plus if they have Force of Will / Counterspell backup. That's kind of the main. They just have Wheel of Fortune? I mean, I'm gonna counter it because, um, you know, clearly their hand is bad, so I don't want them to get a new one. And another land. Well, honestly, should I just pardon on them? I already get a surveil on myself. All right, well, I'd kind of just goldfishing in games 2 and 3, but you know, whatever gets the win, I guess. Let's see if we can get the trophy done. All right. This is an interesting hand. Not really that exciting, but decent like mix. I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. Not great, but kind of hard to turn down. Having good mana, some solid cards to play, and subtlety's a pretty solid pickup. Gives me a little bit of protection. I always feel a little safer when I have a subtlety or a force kind of ready to go. They were paying costs for a second. What if they just accidentally clicked on the card? Interesting. I'm going to hold on to the Shield Breaker for now. It's just so likely that just a random 2/1 gets outclassed. Like, there's like pretty much any 3-drop that they could play in the cube would invalidate that. And yeah, that's fine. I mean, post-combat bounce a haste creature is not the best, but I guess they're just stuck on 2 lands. They want something else to do with the mana. I'm gonna go for a coat here. Since it seems like they're stumbling, it seems like a good turn to try and get something down. Okay. I'll accept that. I accept that trade for sure. Okay, Akat Pakal, first among equals. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control, this turn, look at the top two cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Sure. I'm I'm attacking. No fear. Ah, fear. See, it's all about the mental game. It's all about the mental game. I mean, I'm looking at the situation. Probably would like to Tidebinder here. Do I want to Tidebinder the Shredder or this guy? Um, that's interesting. So this stops the loot plus a +1/+1 counter. This one, I think I'm gonna Tidebinder this. Um, it's just it's the more powerful card advantage. I've got a Force of Will or something. A Subtlety. Okay. Well, hmm. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep it. The way things are going here, I'm pretty likely to want this. I'm gonna hold the Shield Breaker for now. I think it will, given the fact that they're playing this guy, they probably have some pretty good artifacts that they're wanting to play. Walking Ballista, I think I'm just gonna go ahead. Oops. Go ahead and Subtlety that. Send them back a turn. They don't get the trigger there. They put it on the bottom, so it is indeed a clean answer. More mountains. Prof's Eidetic Memory. That's a good one, and I can't really Tidebinder it either. I can counter the +1/+1 on the Ledger Shredder, but nothing more than that. Okay, Fairy Mastermind is a good card here, especially when they've got Ledger Shredder out. Whenever I decide to pop this Tidebinder, putting a Fairy Mastermind into play is going to be pretty good. Okay, well, or it'll be pretty good here. Not as good as Ancestral Recall, but at least is not as awful as it could have been for me. Yeah. It's a Mana Crypt. I remember back in the good old days when my opponent was stuck on 2 lands. Now, things are looking much worse. I think my plan here is going to be... I think I just have to Tidebinder this trigger, because they're potentially putting 4 +1/+1 counters on the Ledger Shredder. Oh, and they also just have Memory Lapse. Okay, so that's 11. That thing is huge. And they get to draw, do a little mini anticipate there. Okay, well, I can at least destroy Shadow Spear. I'm gonna not play the Shield Breaker here, since I want to be able to trigger their Ledger Shredder. Alright, Mana Crypt, you're my win condition. Oh, they won the flip. Well, that's a bit awkward. What have you got here? Kappa Cannoneer. Yeah. Honestly, I kind of feel like I have to Tidebinder this, since I do not want that thing to be unblockable. Draw a card. I'm gonna just block with subtlety here. It looks like I'm in the chumping stage of the game. They put Force Away in the graveyard, so they had something that was better than Force of Will. They just cast, or they just put in their hand. Right. Let's see. What does Broadside Bombardier give me? I could attack with it, sacrifice the Tidebinder to kill the Cannoneer. No, we're even close to dealing with the Ledger Shredder. I think in this case it's probably a. Oh, also if I actually do that, then the ward comes back online. Don't know exactly how that works, but I don't think it's a good enough line regardless. Okay, well, I think I'm going to shuffle here. Fire Islet is indeed a card. Can turn on my Dragon's Rage Channeler, which I think I'm probably going to end up doing just to, because this is the only turn that it can block. I mean, I do kind of feel like my win condition here is just milling them. I mean, both of these effects are not optional, and there are 7 cards. Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna block here. Do a double block here. Looks about right. What have you got over there? That's something big. Oh, Walking Ballista for 4. Right. They did indeed have a Walking Ballista that I subtletyed earlier. Okay. Good game. That actually ended up being a close one. Their deck looks pretty insane. I think yeah, definitely liked what they had going on over there. So yeah, looking at what they've got so artifact synergies, a few kind of hard to kill creatures. I think Mind Collapse is what I'm feeling there, and Kitesail Larcenist. I'm kind of going back and forth on, you know, it's a good answer to a lot of stuff that they've got going on, but you know, it's not necessarily the greatest card. I think in this case though, I did see a couple creatures that Bone Crusher doesn't deal with it whatsoever, um, and a few creatures that Larcenist would definitely do. So okay, yeah, this is a good hint. Mold to 6. You know, when the trophy's on the line, you love to see it. All right, let's get an Epicure down. And then next turn, probably hold up Counterspell and potentially go for Iteration turn 3 when I can hit a land off of it. Or Bombardiers. If they go like just cast Ledger Shredder, I'll be super, super happy. Well, let's see. I know that they've got Mana Crypt, so there is Mana Crypt. Kind of wonder, should I just counterspell that, or should I I think I'm just gonna counterspell this. You know, like an extra 2 mana for every turn for the rest of the game. Oh, that worked out so well. Oh man. So I do have to sacrifice the Epicure, unfortunately. Um, but I mean, I will take that trade all day. And I can even shock the next thing they play if I want, or I can. The world is my oyster at this point. Okay, I'm thinking on that. Okay, Mishra's research desk. Probably gonna crack this at the end of my turn. Let's go for iteration here. Kind of a awkward set of cards, but glad to clear those for sure. So in this case, I am Um, not going to sacrifice the blood token just yet. Want to, I would prefer, if I could, to sacrifice it to gut, get a 4/1 instead. But honestly, I mean, I could see like attacking, sacrifice the blood token, get a 4/1, then sacrifice gut to deal 5. Like, that turn sounds amazing. Okay, the new Magda. Pretty sweet. Let's see, Shadow Spear. Yep. All right, well, Mastermind is in the building. Let me start by doing this. Okay. Okay, so subtlety is coming down. Gets to commit a crime too. Do I want to draw gut again next turn? Or would I rather have... I think I'd rather just have the eidetic memory. I think I'm going to hold off on this Mind Collapse. I'm kind of hoping to get to snipe something a bit better, because currently the Magda doesn't really do too much. You know, they could have targeted me with the Ancestral Recall to commit a crime, but you know, I can understand the impulse not to. Oh, actually, I kind of screwed up there. I should have killed the Magda last turn, because of course, I could have sacrificed the blood token to do it. So yeah, that one's my bad. But this turn's still turning out pretty good for me. Um, Gonna go ahead, put the +1/+1 counters, I think here. So I'm swinging in for 6. And I've got another 4 that I can do. Alright, well, I'm gonna do what I should have done last turn and kill this. I think I would have had lethal this turn for sure if I hadn't messed that up last turn, but you know, it happens sometimes. So let's see what they've got here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Fortunately, Mind Collapse I can't cast it right now. Okay. Well, all right. All comes down to this. Game 3 for the trophy. Now, let's see here. What do I want? I think I think on the draw, I'm gonna go with a Bone Crusher over the Bombardiers. It was pretty sweet that game, but um, if they go turn two Magda, then I would kind of like to be able to do a turn two answer it. And especially Bombardiers can answer it, but it's kind of a painful answer. Ooh, this is a very interesting hand. One land, but it does have a preordain, and I'm on the draw. Opponent keeps 7 cards. I think I'm gonna keep. I've got a couple removal spells. I've got the Shield Breaker, which is good specifically against their deck. I've got like 4 looks at a land. I think I'm gonna go for it. Oh, and I see that's the key. You just draw the land. If you're worried about not getting the lands, just draw them. I think I'm gonna probably bottom both. Don't really have much to do with the Serum Visions, and I would actually like to get a third land. Oh, see, you just draw the lands. Third path to Iconoclast, and not gonna lie, being a little humble, I'm looking like a bit of a genius right now for boarding in this Bone Crusher instead of the Bombardiers for this exact situation. I got Expressive Iteration. It's a good turn 3. Library of Alexandria. Bit late for the library though. Although once they draw their card, they'll be able to start going off with it. Um, do I want the gut or do I want a Bone Crusher? I think I'm gonna go with Bone Crusher because gut can come down at any time, and like as long as I've got a creature to attack with, gut can trigger. Whereas Bone Crusher obviously just a dumb 4/3 needs a turn to get into gear. Hopefully they'll play like a Mana Rock or something, or Shadow Spears. I'd like to be able to, if I could, like Shredder plus destroy an artifact would be a pretty sweet turn. Or just nothing. Okay. Alright, well I guess I'll start by just attacking. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and cast the Ledger Shredder here. I mean, kind of the whole idea with library is building up to double spell. I'm pretty okay with trading that for a counter spell too. Magda, yeah. Let's see here. Man, I started with one land. Now I'm drawing them all. But I think kind of the debate here. I think gut still is pretty mediocre. I think kind of thinking about just um, using Mind Collapse here, get the Magda off the board, and then yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass if they fetch here. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and use it now, and then Otherwise, I would have done it on their upkeep. Okay, Force of Negation. Well, the library is officially offline. Good news for me. Gonna need to draw something here, though. Ooh, the Cannoneer. Yikes. Really don't like to see that. Okay. Well, we got a game. All right. Let's look at my deck. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Look at the cards. Um, this is very interesting. I think probably gonna go for a slick shot show off kill next turn. Yeah, I could just, this order doesn't matter here. Um, and I mean, I think I'm leaving them with the Mana Crypt too, because my plan here is play the Gut, and then I can attack with the Bone Crusher, sacrifice it to get a Skeleton, which can't be blocked by the um, Cannoneer, and then so to put them down to 7, they will go down to, okay, Otawara. Yeah, that is annoying, but, and funnily enough, I can actually do this and not lose the Shield Breaker because it's okay, they lost the flip. That's pretty big. That's pretty big for me. Oh, that's pretty big for them. I think the Shadow Spear just makes a game right here. Uh, yeah. Well, if there's any chance of me winning, it starts with this Gut being in play. Oh my God. Wow. Well, that was possibly the worst expressive iteration that I've ever seen. Wow. Yeah, that's uh that's looking like game here. Unfortunately, trying to think of any way that I could still be in this, kind of coming up empty. But I guess, well, I guess the Magda makes that lethal too, huh? They lost both flips. I guess it would be at 2. Well, okay. Well, this buys me a turn, but I would need an insane. Oh wow, they just have a counterspell. Oh, they have Force of Will. Okay. Okay. Well, ended up with the 2-1. Um, but I mean, overall, I think it was a pretty good pretty good deck. Kind of unfortunate the way that last game played out, but overall happy with how the draft went, and you know, always great to get a 2-1 when you can run it back for the next one. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have a favorite draft archetype or something that always sticks out to you when you draft, or if you also I'm also looking for if you have a build around that you'd like to see in constructed. Um, I always love spicy build around. So yeah, make sure to leave a comment if you got any thoughts on that or anything else for that matter. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.